My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's morning call. This week was an interesting one. You had tech get to highs. You had a little bit of the down move in value in the cyclicals because of the past week or so. You've had the Delta COVID strain making lots of headlines. So had the rotation kick back every few weeks, every few months. We're getting different types of rotation. And I think we're doing a pretty decent job staying on top of it. I know yesterday was a little frustrating even for me, as I think I had just too many positions on, and a bunch of them pulled back in a normal fashion considering they were extended, but that put some pressure on the P&L. And then there were some things that I thought could break up to break to the upside, and they just didn't. So anyway, you put that all together and you'll see that I went from having about 25 plus longs to a lot less, right? I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. So like 15 longs, but I had about 30. So, it cost me a little bit of money to unwind them, and now I'll see, what happens today. Do I come in with 15 positions and leave with 6? Or do I, am I able to buy, some names to go from red to green and continue to see new setups or not? It's the last day of the month, last day of the quarter. Sometimes we see some weird action. And then typically the day after, which is tomorrow, you get new flows for the month or the quarter, so it's hard to get too bearish here, and obviously we just, some things are extended and some things are, everything's kind of different. So let's just get into it. All in all, you look at the S&P. The S&P, after a move from a week or so ago, into this 4180 area all the way up to 4300, 120 handles like that, where my SPY hedge, got a little frustrating also, where it was taking some money back from me. So anyway, so I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of a retracement into the 8-day moving average, which we've been above, since clearing this spot. So we'll see. Right now, we're well off our lows in the futures. The SPYs themselves, just take a closer look. I don't even think we're below 427.13 right now. So if it got below that, hey, maybe there's a move towards here, which is closer to 426, and that's probably where I would cover some of my hedges. I did cover a little bit yesterday. There was a little bit of a pullback, not a lot, but still, I pretty much, my average cost of my hedge is not too bad. It's like 424, so only down 4 points in my hedge, and I've had a lot of longs. So, on Monday I was at a serious new all-time high in my month and quarter, and then yesterday just gave back a bunch of Monday's gains, and just I hate when I do that. It is what it is. It's part of life. But you have a doji here. So does this doji create an inside day, or does it break below 427.13 to come back towards 426, which is still not even the 8-day. The 8-day is below that. So we'll see how it goes. We shall see how it goes. Anyway, the Qs have been friggin' so strong. Lots of different ways to play tech, and I've been pretty involved in tech, which has been really good, for a lot of people, including me. Here is your double bottom. This was the wedge formation from 2 weeks ago, and then boom, 355. Now what? There's a whole 352. It's a little extended from the 8-day, but it's not pulling back. You just always have to be a little bit careful when it's that extended from the 8-day. You don't want to be trying to add too much strength, because it's prone, or it's, what's the word? It's in jeopardy of a down move. It's susceptible to a down move maybe, but we'll see. It hasn't happened. Everyone thought that this would be a move to down to there, and then it took out 351 to get to 355. IWM is kind of stalling again at this upper area. In order for this to really get some power, it's going to have to hold, I would think, somewhere around this area. You have a low, higher low, higher low. This would be a nice higher low to get going. I'm not in the IWM itself. I'm in some options in anticipation of this happening. So far, doesn't look like it yet. It still looks very constructive. Today would be a constructive day if it could go green and create a better looking bull flag versus these 3 red candles, but we'll see. I might even buy the IWM today to go green. We'll see. Yes, it's 8:15, the ADP employment report's coming out, so you got to look for that. Or actually, it's past that already. But we'll see. The banks came out with the stress test, and a lot of banks came out with some big buybacks, some big dividend increases, and didn't really get much traction off of the lows here. So just be careful. I'm not in really any banks. But if you are and you want to use this 36.45 as a stop, that's probably what you should be using. NCLH, as I said before, the Delta variant took some of the the air out of some of these type of sectors, because again, people aren't going to be traveling as much. We're a little scared, but I personally think the worst of COVID's behind us, so it's just rotational trade. So we did very well with Norwegian Cruise Lines back here, and then I tried it here, trimmed some, and then I guess got stopped out of here, and now I'll wait to see if there's something to do there or not. Some guys like, well, look at Boeing, it's horrible. I'm like, yeah, Boeing, gave you a bounce up, and then the red dog reversal here, and then it's now below the moving average. So there's no reason to be in Boeing. Okay, maybe it works its way back towards here, and then it gets a better trade. There was a decent trade back here, if you remember. We sold puts, and some guys got long, and and that was it. Active sequence probably came more to an end right there. Now we'll see what happens here. But I really don't have that many thoughts on that. Let's see. Everyone's saying, Chillo saying ADP a little bit stronger. Okay, so when the economy's a little stronger, then everyone gets a little bit more worried about inflation. So we'll see how that affects things today. Let's go into high beta tech. Facebook, 349. They'll make it very simple. Maybe you could buy it versus 349 for it to build another bull flag. Some guys like, hey, was it down too much yesterday? I'm like, maybe it was up too much this day. So now see if 349 holds. I'm not in it. It's been a great buy the dip trade. Maybe I buy that today as an opportunity. Tesla, is another focus of mine. Big time move for Tesla. We finally made some really good money from here up to 697. And now it's trying to rebuild. If it holds 675, that makes it really easy to hold, and then maybe it goes green. If it breaks 675, 667 is right around there, so you have to be a bit careful. So if it breaks 675, it's no man's land. Maybe it breaks below, comes back above, and I'd love to see it build a nice bull flag to then potentially clear this area. But we'll see. Deliveries are on Friday, so it's kind of risky. But a nice move. Made really nice money in this. So hopefully it can continue. It was down $4 this morning. I bought a little bit. Let's see what I want to just see what the spies are doing off of the ADP right now. Hold on, because I don't have my system up. Let's see what the spies are doing. At 8:20, the spies are, I think they're flattish. Yeah, spies are up a penny. Anyway, lots of individual action. So that's that. Amazon, still hard to trade, hard to really maneuver. I did, try and look for some cute cash flow. How did I do that? Well, when this broke here, into that move Friday, I sold some puts, which, I already covered half of it and made 50% by, covering the premium. I also maneuvered my call spread a little bit. But I'm still in a big call spread for August. But I don't really expect it to clear this spot until earnings. Post earnings, hopefully a split or something, because look at the size of this channel. We'll see. But ultimately, this was just your active sequence. Was it horrible that it paused here? No, but holding this would keep some active momentum. So we'll see. Netflix was a great trade for us. First time in a while we caught a nice option trade in Netflix. I have a little bit left. It's got to build above 525 to keep this active sequence intact. That's a little extended. Bob is interesting. Baba, had a big move. We bought the options as a pure hunch, worked out very well. Sold some at 7, sold some at 12. I only have 25% left. But if it can hold this 225, like it's down $2 today, maybe it's viable. And then, maybe there's another trade above this 230 area. Bob has been out of play for a long time. So it looks like it's getting a little bit better. Baidu looks like it's getting a little bit better. Broke this downtrend. Some guys bought it. So maybe it goes from red to green today. This was your downtrend. Now you'll see, does it hold this spot? To continue. I'll put this on later with some numbers and stuff. Some guys got me to buy this PDD yesterday, thinking that, hey, maybe it's poking its head up. So it's down like $1 or so. So I'd like to see this go red to green. And then there's some area if it wants to get better. If these names want to, if it wants to continue to the upside. It's a new name for me. I played it back in the day. So, yesterday's engulfing bar got me in. So we'll see if it can continue. And then maybe it takes out 133.81. That's 133.81. So those are the three little Chinese names. And going back to Fang, I am still in Apple. It's been a great active sequence. It was down 50 cents before. I don't know what it is now. We've been in it pretty much since here. That's a really nice move for Apple. Hopefully you guys have made really good money there. All depends on your sizing. I said it would get to 137 pretty much when it was down here. And that's where it's kind of getting close to. So, manage that trade. Google, I bought a little bit the other day on that Facebook news. It hasn't done a whole hell of a lot. I'm trying not to overtrade it. But I feel like I should be able to stay in it as long as it holds 24.28. If it breaks 24.28, that's going to be my stop. If it gets above 24.61, hey, there's more room to the upside. It's been leading and it's been trending. Hasn't shown so much power, but I figured I could handle that or try to. In concept growth land, Palantir, what a nice move, right? From this 20 area to 27.50, which we mapped out. Came in a little bit this morning. I bought a little bit around 26.20. There was some news, and I'm like, hey, I sold some into 27.50. I'm real small. Maybe I could buy some back, from 27.40 down to 26.20. It's $1.20 that I saved myself, so we'll see. Yesterday, I did sell Triple D. I probably should have stayed with some to make sure to keep myself engaged here, but I didn't just because I was tightening up on all my positions. I have some bids in near 36. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it does, I'll be buying it back there. I sold it, most of it above 40, and we were buying it in here. What a nice move. It was a great trade. That was a great trade, and just because I had a great trade, I don't need to sit in a pullback to the 8-day. When it's extended from the 8-day, that's when I like to, get back involved. I am still in CCIV. Wasn't as tight, on it, meaning some guys got out yesterday, said, hey, look at the red bar, but it's really just a little extended. It's a nice trade here. I might buy a dip. I'd like to see it hold this 25.50 area. SKLZ I'm still in. It's not a barn burner, but it's working its way higher. It's down a little bit today. I'll buy some to go green. I still think there's room there. We had good prices. Don't ruin your prices. Maybe just sit. If you guys remember from last week, I bought that ASTS. Sometimes, if I buy options just because it's trading sloppy for something to happen, and as of now, still needs to do a lot more, but it's kind of holding up. Deutsche Bank gave it a really big price target. Let's see where it is. ASTS. Wow, 13.18, up $3 above this spot. So those options are going to be doing pretty well. It didn't really, I guess it gave you a signal. It's just a little bit of a lesson, I guess. I know a lot of people were upset with Wish, including me, because it didn't go yet. But all in all, it's still just up here. That's why I'm keeping my options, but the stock's not giving me a true signal to be in the stock and options. It did over here, and then it failed, so I got out of my stock, and now we'll wait and see. All in all, though, from where it came from, it's still hanging around here. It's just that too many people had their eyeballs on it, so I think you have to kind of shake up the sentiment a little bit. What else? Talking about meme stocks, AMC. I got out of it yesterday. Why? Because it went above 59, couldn't hold it, so I'm going to wait. There's been no action in GME. Maybe it's got to get above 224. I don't know what the news could be for that, but if it gets above it on massive volume, maybe it turns on a trade. If not, it's kind of dead money. In crypto land, the active sequence from the Red Dog reversal at 30K to me is still intact. What would keep it intact? Well, really, it's got to hold this 33.5 now. Go sideways, and then, hey, maybe takes this out and wants to see this void area of 41. Here is your Red Dog reversal buy. I actually did pretty well. When this did its reversal, I bought Ethereum in the 1750 area, and then I actually sold some. Then I bought some back in the 1950 area. Then I sold some at 2200. I also bought some of the altcoins pretty much on the dead lows on this day and made about 20-30% on a bunch of them. My crypto account, believe it or not, documented at all-time highs while other people just got cut in half. Why? Because right here is when I got to 100% cash in my crypto account, which is what I told all of you guys. The head and shoulders pattern was perfectly setting up with a move here to get out when it broke the 8-21 day before Elon came out. But anyway, that's that. Some guys are like, hey, Red Dog, whatever happened to your interest in Roblox? on this red dog reversal, I get out of the way. I just never rebought back at that retest. Coin, fantastic trade. Fantastic. Bought a lot on this day, held some into yesterday, actually sold this one well into strength, and now I feel like I want to buy it back. It's a little extended from here, so in my mind, I could see 240, but it might not. So I would think somewhere in this zone, if this is going to be any good, we should be able to buy it back. So I might actually buy some back, take a little bit of pain, and buy it versus a 15-minute low, as it does still feel like the crypto sector put a low in for now, and that's what this needs to start a new active sequence, but it did. So I want to, into here, maybe we buy it. Let's see, where's coin right now? Coin it's at 250, down 5. So 11 points off yesterday's high, right around yesterday's low. Still a little extended, so I'm trying to be a little bit more careful, but I will be looking at that to see if I could play it to go from red to green for some cash flow. So that's really it. It's 8:30. I want to get this out to. It's the last day of the quarter. Wow. To think about, that February high where a lot of us, had a lot of things on, and we unraveled our positions into the end of February and pulled back decently off our highs. And I think most of us are back at our highs. I'm back and through and feeling good. Again, we stood our ground. How do we stand our ground? By keeping our routine and process intact. How do we do that? Because we like it and we do it every day. How do you like it? You have to do things you like. I like to go in my sauna at what time in the morning? Around 5:15, and look at the news and do some tweets and do 500 reps to get me going and sweat. Then I get in here and then I do 50 charts, get it up by 8 o'clock, the note, the video, then I take a little break, and then I trade, and then I put my headset on, and then 11:30 I'm frazzled. I step away, I go do a Peloton class, I refresh, I put my stops in only where the trade changes, not the money. And then I come back, and sometimes I'm stopped out of things, and sometimes I'm making a lot of money because I wasn't there to sell, and they had huge moves, and I was in the right trade. And then I trade the close, do the recap, go home, hang out with the kid, have a glass of wine, a beer, this, that, and that's my life. Go cadence somewhere, swimming. So you got to create a life that you love so you can do it every day, and have your process and habits and routine intact. Processes, habits, and routines intact. Almost sounds like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! Did you ever see Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Yeah, because Instapup, he doesn't like Broadway plays. Anyway, it's a private joke. I'll post some more charts, and I'll see you in a little bit. Good luck today.